I talked about Asgard's Wrath in a two-part review a few months back. For the first part, I was blown away by the game. The graphics and immersions of virtual reality action title was new to me. Since then, I played dozens upon dozens of virtual reality games. That caused Asgard's Wrath to lose its shine. My second round 2 review was much more negative than my first. Now that I am used to virtual reality and a master of its mechanics, I can firmly say that Asgard's Wrath 2 is one of the best virtual reality experiences on the MetaQuest 3 and a decently good workout for a virtual reality game. It just takes some time to kinda get there. It is a slow beginning. What's going on, everybody? My name is Jack Jenkins, and welcome to the Fitness Game Review series. I play a game, review it, and tell you how many calories I burned to see if it's worth working out with the game or if it's worth, dumping it. So you get both the review of the content and how fit it is. Let's roll that intro.
For self-improvement, crafts, and fitness games, go ahead and turn on YouTube and watch Jack.
I will discuss my first round of playing Asgard Wrath 2. I plan on doing these video rounds up until I finish the game. In the meantime, I'll talk about the fitness aspect and give you statistics on how many calories I have burned during each round, and at the end of the series, total it up to see how much I burned through playing the entire game. As you can see, I am a big man, currently weighing 285 pounds at 6'2". That's right, I'm pretty tall and very heavy. Asgard's Wrath 2 opens up exactly where the previous game have left off. You are a god in training who is tricked by the god Loki into giving him the stones. He then traps you within the tavern where you, the gods, rest as punishment for fighting him. The beginning of the game starts with you going about the tavern from the first game and seeing the other gods' reactions, being like, well, you screwed up. Then, all of a sudden, you get freed and thrown into a new dimension based on the religion of the ancient Egyptians. From there, you must gather the Egyptian stones to return to your universe and take down Loki. It's a great overall premise for the series and a great way to keep the game fresh. By having you jump into a whole new set of gods, you get a whole new world of design opportunities. Much like the first game, you must take possession of mortal beings and complete quests to get the stones. During my first playthrough, I only played Abarax, I believe I'm saying that right, a tomb robber who seeks revenge on Sekhmet for his father's death. Unlike the original game with Asgard's Wrath 2, the character cannot use fallen enemies' weapons. Instead, you are stuck with an axe and a sword that can turn into kind of like a whip. While not being able to use random weapons does suck, the overhaul upgrades to them are so much better. Instead of finding random items, you level up through combat and can upgrade your weapons, increasing the abilities to strengthen your combat abilities. For example, my axe was upgraded so that it created this little line that when enemies walked into would cause damage. The entire combat system was overhauled from this point as well. It is much more kinetic with the whip ability, allowing the removal of armory or the ability to swing to hit enemies from the distance. The blocking mechanics are solid, and overall, it's a much needed improvement over the hack and slash stylings of the first game. It is far away from being my favorite combat system. That goes to Until You Fall, which is just spectacular. That review is coming soon.
I don't suppose you could also fly me up to that door.
Wouldn't I have the strength of a god?
Combat isn't the only thing being improved. The level design has gone from being the super linear path to an open world design. You have your overworld that then breaks off into different level areas where you must complete different missions. It's much more similar to the level design of Zelda than the previous game, which was so much more linear. The game is much more fun with the overworld containing many secrets and puzzles. It's fun to try and scope out like a new cave to explore, but only see that it's full of level 50 enemies while you're a level 8, so you try to sneak around and try and get the good equipment. It's just so much fun. The puzzles are also so much better in this game than in the original Asgard's Wrath. Unlocking doors by like throwing your axe and guiding it through a maze becomes a super fun puzzle, especially when you have to like manipulate the environment around you to kind of get rid of obstacles. Learning how to reach certain areas of a level through like different floating platforms and utilizing different levels is such a treat. It truly brings me back to the design of like pre-Breath of the Wild Zelda, and I cannot be happier. This really reminds me of like things like Ocarina of Time or Twilight Princess, which those are my favorite Zeldas. Sorry, Breath of the Wild, but the old style Zelda is better. Sure, some people are not happier with the puzzles. My younger brother, who's, Gen Z, absolutely hates puzzles and really only wants combat in games. Versus, I feel like my generation, we're much older and want more like puzzles. We want to actually think when we play games. If you are that way, then I cannot recommend Asgard's Wrath. You will be miserable. If you're a fan of just regular classic adventure games, then this is for you. I am more of a classic gamer, and this definitely hits my vibe. However, my one big issue so far with the game is the opening. Getting to the game's fun part takes a solid couple of hours. I'm talking 3, 4, 5 hours it takes before you can actually get to anything fun. You start off with a bunch of linear gameplay and tutorials that are so bad, I thought about quitting. And I am just not alone. If you look through the Reddit for this game, people are like, the beginning of this game is awful. It's a slog to just get through. However, you'll be in for a great game once you do. During my playthrough, I got to about halfway through Saga 2. I rescued 2 Greek gods from the Scorpion Lair, which is a section of the game, and was led to the Temple of Tefnut to get the Sun Disk fragment. If I complete the whole Sun Disk, then I can go to the Lair of Sekhmet and get the stone, one of the 4 stones in the Egyptian area, or 5 stones, I forgot what they said, but I can get one of the stones and I can go back and fight Loki once I get them all. I cannot wait to see what puzzles I will find and go through while in the Temple of Tefnut, let alone as I continue my Asgard's Wrath journey in my round 2 video. Now before we go, let's get into the fitness aspect of this video and this series. Overall, Asgard's Wrath 2, I would say, is not that physical, with the only movement being the swinging of your sword. Previously I talked about my Ragnarok, which is one of my which is one of the most calorie burning game I did, and I was just completely sweating. For this game, I did not even break a sweat during most of my time playing. Here's me and my data chart of how long I played the game and how many calories I burned. Utilizing the data in this chart, I can provide some interesting statistics. I really can't talk today. I do my challenges every day except for 1 day per week, which is usually on a Sunday, because everyone needs rest, especially me. I'm a big boy. I need my nappy time. Across 30 days of playing, that gives me 26 days of actual sit down or stand up and put on a VR helmet and play a game. From there, we can get my calories per minute workout. First, my total calories during the 26 days of playing are 5,070 calories. That calculates down to 202.69 calories per session. Nice indeed. The total time of playing across all days comes to 10 hours, 37 minutes, and 3 seconds. The average time per playing session comes to 24 minutes and 30 seconds. I usually aim for playing for 20 minutes per session, so if I go over a pretty decent amount like I did with this game, I wasn't really checking my clock or my Apple Watch to see like, oh, I played this for, too long. So the game was pretty good. With these two data points, the average calorie per minute burned, which is my most coveted fact item, is 8.34. That is 0.5 more calories burned than in the first game, which does make sense, as this game is a little bit more active. You're swinging around the sword a little bit more, blocking, whipping, stuff like that. That number is 3 calories less than a real fitness game like Thrill of the Fight, and is almost 4 calories per minute less than my favorite game, the game that burned the most, Ragnarok. I don't know why I'm stumbling so bad. Now that game got me sweating. Overall, I had a great time playing Asgard's Wrath. While the opening 3 or so hours are incredibly slow, it does kick into the gear and becomes incredible. Does it look as good as the first game? No. That first game was running on like my $2,000 PC versus my $600 headset, which is just a mobile phone basically with a screen. However, what it lacks in visuals, it makes up for improved combat, incredible level design, more fleshed out PC and better conversations if I'm being honest, and way better puzzles. I cannot wait to continue to dive into the world of Asgard's Wrath 2 and talk about the animal companions and so much more. There was just so much I had to talk about that I had to cut out so I can fit this video in this frame that I'll get to in round 2. The game takes about 60 hours according to howlongtobeat.com, so expect 5 more rounds as I delve into Asgard's Wrath 2. In total, that would be 6 rounds, which is still less than my Ring Fit Adventure, which was 11 rounds. That game was long. I have to give it up to Nintendo. That was a lot of content. So guys, that's it for today's review of Asgard's Wrath 2, Round 1. If you like this video, then please give it a big thumbs up. And if you like the way that I fumble through this one, give me a thumbs up too. It's all this job searching I've been doing. I've been unemployed, so it's just been nothing but typing in jobs. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for more videos such as these. I try to put out a new one every single week. If you have any ideas on new challenges you want me to do, then please leave them down below. I love doing challenges, and you guys supplying new ideas helps tremendously. Follow me on X and Instagram at TrueJackJank. Links are below. Visit the website at jack-jenkins.com. Lastly, I want all you guys watching to have a fantastic day. If you are wondering how you can improve your lives, well, you can't really do it alone, can you? We can only improve together.
Strike will hit harder. Take any advantage.